Annetarsia does create a lot of ends. I'm going to show you how to get rid of them very quickly and efficiently. Now this is the wrong side of some knitting, and here I've already buried the ends into the links. The links are a big advantage that we have because that is a space that we can bury the end into so that it's very quick and efficient, and it doesn't create a lot of bulk and it doesn't show. So in order to do that, we're going to use a special needle. Yarn needles have nice big eyes to put that yarn through, but the end is blunt, and that's so that you can go around the yarn without damaging it. And that's really nice, but if you weave the yarn in and around the links, it's not going to be very secure. So instead, we're going to sew the yarn into itself, and you need a sharp needle to do that. This is called a chenille needle, and you can see how sharp the tip is. The other end, though, has a hole that's large enough to put yarn through. Chenille needles come in different sizes. This is a size 18, which is large enough for a worsted weight yarn and anything smaller. The higher the number, the thinner the eye. So a 20 will be okay for DK or sport weight, and a 22 for lace weight, but I pretty much use 18 for everything. So to thread the needle, I pinch the yarn around the end, and if you need it to be even tighter, you can pinch it around the small end, and you just pinch it really tightly and take that hole between the thumb and forefinger to get that yarn through the needle. Now you'll notice at the base of your yarn that there's a small hole, and that's because this yarn isn't linked to anything. So the first thing you want to do is just make sure that your tension is nice. It should look good on the other side. You can tighten it up if it needs to be tightened up. And then as soon as it's where you want, you take it over to the other side where it should have gone. And it should have gone maybe over here or over here. This is a nice invisible place to link it to, so I'm going to put it there. And you could just sort of see how it looks. Now that looks good to me. That looks like it should be there. If it doesn't look like it should be there, you can always take it out at this point because you haven't buried anything yet. But I like that. That looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually sew this piece of yarn into the links. So with the tip of my sharp needle, I'm going into the plies. I'm actually sewing into the link. And it doesn't matter what color you sew it into. I don't really want to see that needle very much. The more needle you see, the less it's sewn into. You don't have to go very far. That's about 1/2 inch. I'm going to pinch it here so that I keep that fabric from pulling, so that only the yarn goes through. Okay? And now I'm going to go back the same way I went. I'm not going to go back exactly. I'm going to just come in a little bit closer, and now I'm sewing the yarn into itself. Now that is a permanent move. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to clip it off very, very close to where it was. When I stretch the fabric out, that encourages that end to go even further into the yarn. Now this is a permanent move. It looks just like this one over here. I can't take it out. There's 2 rules for when you're going to bury an end. You need to have some fabric to bury it into. So I like to go at least 1 inch before I bury an end. You don't want to do it too close to the needle because it might disrupt the stitches that are still live. The other rule is don't do it until you're positive you don't need to take it out, because once you do that, it is not coming out for anybody. You won't even be able to find the end. Now, on the right side row, on the right side of the work, it's going to look just fine because you haven't actually sewn into the fabric. You've sewn into the links. Pretty cool, huh? This is a very, very useful technique. It should be very quick. In and out. It should take you longer to actually thread the needle than it does to sew it into the link. It doesn't need to look pretty. You're hiding it inside. I find this a very, very useful technique, and I hope you do too.